Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Teen Shallot, and today we're going to be talking about your favorite what if on this channel, my Z Warriors. We're doing what if Deku had Abranium Part 4. And you guys are wondering, Part 4? Yes, my guys, I'm bringing it back with a passion, and today we're gonna be doing the USJ arc, and you guys gotta be prepared for the action I have for this scene, the emotions you're gonna be feeling. And now let us begin together. So where we last left off, Deku had just chosen representatives for the class and they went to go eat lunch. Deku was eating lunch by himself until Momo and the whole class just came there and sat next to him. And he's like, is there something wrong? And they're all like, no, we just wanted to sit next to you and talk and just eat. Oh, okay. And then Deku said to Momo, then he started bowing to Momo and saying that he deeply apologized for what he did. He had no right to do that. And she forgave him, because she's nice that way. And then Deku's like, man, I don't deserve this kindness. So many people have been so kind to me. Damn it. And it will feel even worse if it ever got taken away. And then he started muttering a lot. And everybody's like, damn, he muttered a lot. I'd never seen him mutter this much. Because he sometimes muttered for like a full minute, but he was muttering straight away while eating lunch. And then he was also writing in a notebook. And then they're like, what are you doing on the notebook? He instantly perked up and he said, oh, nothing. And he just hides it quickly away. And they're like, are you sure? That looked really suspicious. Yes, I'm sure. I don't go up to you asking millions of questions, do I? Yeah, okay. So Deku, oh my god. So Deku was still about to talk a bit more about himself, open up a bit more, when all of a sudden they heard an alarm. And then a third year student said, look, the alarm, it sounds like that usually comes up when a villain's attacking. Deku was not scared at all. And he told every kid to just stay here from class 1A. He's like, hey everybody, stay here, alright, do not move. He went outside, busted through the window, jumped over a few bushes and landed at the front entrance. And then he landed with a mighty impact. And then he said, mighty impact, and then he did a whole ground smash with his leg. And then everybody in the media was blown away from him, especially the heroes. They all got up and they're like, kid, you could have killed us. What did you do that for, huh? What made you think you could use your quirk? First off, media, the biggest parasite known to mankind. You really love going through people's personal belongings, huh? I've read a few articles online and I've seen what kind of shit you guys pull through the mud. And the media is a bit taken aback by this, all the reporters, because they knew it was true. He knew everything about him. And then Aizawa looked with a lot of pride and a smile on his face because he felt the exact same way. And he was like, Dad, Uncle Mike, move away, I'm going to handle them. Then he cracks his neck, his shoulder, and his fingers, and he says, who's ready for a world of pain? And then I immediately felt a dark presence from somewhere inside the school. I mean Deku. Why did I say I did? Deku felt a dark presence from inside the school. He went and he turned back and ran. And he said, deal with the reporters. I feel an intruder inside the school. Immediately all systems were activated. There was a big gigantic lockdown. And then they were all looking to find this guy. They saw him in a storage room. And Deku went inside. And he saw the man, as you know, Shigaraki. But he didn't know it was Shigaraki. He went to go attack him. Shigaraki jumped away, and then he grabbed Deku's arm and started decaying it. And then Deku's like, fuck? That hurts. Beep hurts, And then he gets just powers of 5% or 8% of one for all, and he says, Detroit smash! And he punches Shigaraki through the wall. Shigaraki's on the ground, and he sees he has some papers with him. And then Deku said, not on my watch. But then all of a sudden, a purple portal appears and instantly takes Shigaraki out of there. Deku narrowly missing him. So Deku gets up and starts and roars in like anger that he wasn't able to get him. Now their plans have been wrecked for the USJ. And then, sensing what might have happened, Aizawa came in and he's like, "What happened, Deku? What happened?" He got away with plans for the USJ. We're gonna have to double up on security, and we're gonna have to do even more protection for the school. Alright, I want you to be in charge of security. Me? Yes, I trust you to be fully in charge of what you're gonna be doing right. Thank you. No problem, kid. So, Aizawa went out of the room and so did Mike, and then Deku went back to his classroom. The next few days, security got tightened up even harder, double, triple the security, and it was time for the USJ. They all went, and this time All Might did not do the hero work, so he's gonna be there. But this time All Might was there, and it's gonna go pretty badly for the villains. Because it's gonna be full 3 hours that he can do, or 1 hour at least. So Deku went with All Might and was right next to him and said, "Hey, Dad, how you doing? It's good, son. Are you feeling okay? Don't beat yourself up because we can't always get the villains." "I know, Dad. It's just I wish I did more." "You did better. We figured out that there was somebody inside the school and you were able to get them before they could cause any harm to any of the students. You should be proud of yourself." Then Deku says, "Hey, Ilma, is it okay if I use your shoulder for a second?" And All Might's like, "Yeah, sure. That's fine." And then Deku's like, "Oh, thanks." So he just rests on All Might's shoulder. And All Might looks at him with a lot of pride on his face and a lot of happiness. And he just lets Deku rest there. Once they arrive, All Might says, "Alright, son, get up. It's time." "Already? Yeah, I'm sorry, but you gotta get up." "Okay." So they got up and they went inside. And then they found something that they think they never see. Villains. Just there. They weren't even doing anything. They were just standing there. And then when they arrived, all the villains turned their heads towards them and said one word was said. "Kill them all." And then 2 times the amount of villains that were there in the USJ in the first place came. And now there was over 1,000 villains in there and they all had to be taken out. All concentrated in one area. And everybody was so surprised. Then the whole electric system and all comms are cut inside the USJ. And everybody knew that something was going terribly wrong. Because when communication cut down, because they already had a tracker, but then that was gone as well. So they're like, "Alright, we gotta figure this out fast." So a lot of pro heroes started getting ready, assembled a team and equipment, and they were about to get ready to leave. And then they were stopped by another villains. There were 40 villains attacking the school as well. The League of Villains, they went all out for this one. They went and got thousands of villains to attack. So they're also attacking the school just so they could stop and why am I stuttering? So they could hold them back. So then the villains can kill All Might. Deku knew what was happening and he would not let this fly. He went and he immediately went to all the villains, activated full killing, 15%, and he started destroying every single villain that he saw. Him and All Might together defeating every single villain. All Might had only 1 hour, and then Nomu was put earlier into play. And then Bakugo and a lot of the other students started fighting, but they were getting overwhelmed by the amount of villains. 13, Aizawa were being defeated really badly. The Nomu was tearing up All Might. And Deku knew that he had to do something as well. So he charged up 20% of One For All through his body. But his body was a bit screaming here. He was hurting everywhere. But no, he kept going. He kept going. He knew he would not let his family die here today. Even his classmates. So he went and he started fighting every single villain he saw. Knocking them out. Even worse, killing them at times. And what nobody knew what is happening now is that Deku was getting angry and angrier. And something inside, some animal instincts. Some kind of thing that they injected into him, something they made him. He was becoming a monster. He was starting to kill more villains rather than take them down. Killing one after the other. Everybody was horrified by this display. They didn't know that Deku had this kind of side. And then Bakugo was about to get hit by the Nomu because All Might was out of the way, a bit tired. And then Deku said the one thing that Bakugo never knew that Deku would ever say again. He said, "Kachan, get out of the way." So Deku pushed Bakugo out of the way, and he got hit so hard that he went obliterated through the whole landslide zone. He was stuck inside a mountain. Bakugo couldn't believe it that Deku, the man that he thought he hated, actually called him Kachan and saved his life. Bakugo felt immense hurt and sadness for what he did to Deku over the years. So he's like, I might as well take revenge for what I did and try to make up for my mistakes. He charged up a gigantic blast, went around to the Nomu and blasted him straight in the face. There were serious burns all around the Nomu. But then Nomu got suplexed by All Might. But then Kurogiri had a shadow, and he said that I don't really like blood in my portals, but as long as it's you, All Might, I'm glad with the number one hero and all. I'll gladly stain my portals with your blood. And then Deku heard this from far away, and he thought, Priest mode activated. And if you all are wondering what is Priest mode, you're just gonna find out. Deku was wearing a PE gym uniform this whole time, but then he took off his costume. Inside was a whole priest getup. If you guys have watched Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works, or Fate Zero, you see that priest at the beginning. I kind of forgot his name, but if you know who I'm talking about, then you know how badass this man is. And he starts wiling. He kicks blades out of nowhere across his hands, and they look like 3 claws or something, and he starts slicing each villain out of the way, beating them all to a pulp with 15% of one for all. He's a blur. Nobody can see him. And then he starts beating up every villain, taking out 2, 3, no, even 5 villains, one at a time, disassembling them, beating them, killing them. Each time he kills, he's getting happier, stronger, even better, faster. He's thinking, moving on the fly. He's not even thinking about being a hero anymore right now. He's just thinking, I have to kill them all. Then, words that nothing has anybody ever seen? No. Deku just came out of nowhere. The villains didn't know where he went next. They went underground. They looked under. He wasn't there. They looked up. He wasn't there. They looked behind. And right there was the most fearful thing they have ever seen. Bloodlust-filled eyes. One turned into the red shade, and another turned green. And it was a half and half color of eyes and skin tone. And then Deku he immediately went pale, and he said, Detroit smash. And he immediately used 100% of one for all, and he immediately punched it in obliterated 200 villains in one go with how strong his Detroit smash was. Now, every hero that was there was being beaten badly, but the load was taken lightly off because of Deku being there. So Deku decided he could do the best thing that he needed right now. He went to every single student and he started saving their lives, taking out the villains that were fighting them and brought them all back to the entrance. The pros then arrived, but not as many as he would thought, because they had to deal with the villains. Deku did not even know what to say anymore. The villains had even attacked the school. This made him mad. Mad. He became so mad, he roared in rage, and he attacked every single villain that he saw in his face, and he started obliterating the villains, beating them to pulp even harder, faster, destroying them immediately, making them regret for ever attacking his family, his school, his home. And then the last 500 villains were fighting, and then everybody's surprised. 500, no, not even 500. 200 villains were left out of 800, and Deku contributed to most of them. And what happened next is something that nobody else would realize. All Might came crashing through the landslide zone, the Nomu standing there in triumphant. And then Deku let out a primal rage. His power went into overdrive. every single hit that he absorbed, he started attacking the Nomu with it. And then the Nomu started beating on him harder and harder, but he kept trying to regenerate at the same time. But the Nomu wouldn't let him. And then Deku gathered up all the kinetic energy that he had absorbed. And he said, "Primal release!" And he let out a gigantic purplish greenish lightning out of his body that imploded this everything around him. The whole the Nomu got obliterated with nothing left except some cells, but he started regenerating. Deku found the brain, crushed it in his hand, and immediately went unconscious. That was the longest Deku had ever used his power for, and he went overboard. They saw the dead bodies, and the heroes were immediately sick, but they realized why Deku had done it in the first place, so they did not blame him for what he did. And then Momo was there. Every girl was fawning over Deku right now. They were legit crying. Bakugo felt even more like a shit. You know, he felt like, damn, Deku saved me after everything I did to him. I don't deserve this kindness. And then Bakugo went and picked up Deku, put him over his shoulder, and he walked back. Walked back with his whole class surrounding him. And then everybody's confused. They're like, wait, what? Why is Bakugo carrying him? And they're like, Deku saved his life. And if it wasn't for Deku, Bakugo would be dead right now. And Bakugo just realized that. And they all walked back. And Deku got up a bit. And he's like, Kachan, I forgive you. And Bakugo, he started crying, you know, because like, he didn't think that he'd ever get forgiveness from Deku for what he's been doing to him for all those years, for what he went through. And he started crying a lot, even harder than he's ever cried before. And he knew on that day that he would try to change himself and become the hero that he knew he could be. And yeah, guys, that's where I'm going to be ending part 4 to What If Deku Had Abranium. I know this is a very intense arc. I know it wasn't what you guys might have expected to happen. But I want you to know that I'm glad for your support and kindness that you have shown me through this whole series. I promise that I will end this series with a bang. I will not fail your expectations, because you, my fans, my Z Warriors, deserve it. Now, as a final goodbye, this is Teen Shallot, out of here.